That's a commodity producing machine. It generates a commodity and it sells it. Or when ChatGPT sells you a subscription for $50 a month. Again, this is a commodity producing machine. But when Google, through its search engine, or TikTok, offer you an opportunity to experience some kinds of service, to carry out a search or to watch videos, then they become something completely different. They're not producing commodities because these are not for sale. They are what I call behavior modifiers, machines whose job is to modify our behavior. And that's what I call cloud capital. Capital is produced means of production, but cloud capital is produced means of behavioral modification or manipulation. And I'm going to argue that it is their use as behavior modifiers that enriches big tech, and that this increasing use as behavior modifiers is what is driving two things. First, the enormous profitability and capitalization of big tech, and secondly, capitalism to its grave. So, let me explain this a bit better, because I know it's a very controversial statement. Take the great valuations of big tech. I don't believe that they're due to machines that operate as commodity producers. It's the second part of the dual use. It's the behavioral modifier use, which is giving the Magnificent Seven these huge valuations. To see this, let's take Amazon's Alexa. It presents itself as your slave. You order it to do things for you, to switch on lights, to order you milk from the supermarket. But in reality, what Amazon's Alexa does is it trains you to train it to know you so that it can offer you good advice. And by offering good advice, to gain your trust. And then one day, once it has your trust, when your coffee maker breaks down, you ask Alexa to suggest a particular model. And when it does, you trust the machine, you click buy. What just happened? Cloud capital, that Alexa contraption connected to the cloud of Amazon, has sold you a commodity that it played no role as a piece of machinery in producing, while its owner, Jeff Bezos, pockets 40% of the price you paid for the coffee maker. Now, let me explain why I don't think that, even though Amazon.com, and all these sites, Alibaba in China and so on, they look like a market. They are not a market. And I want to take you back, dear listener or watcher, to the Soviet Union, the Soviet Planning Ministry, Gosplan, if you remember it. Gosplan also offered a top-down algorithmic system matching buyers and sellers. It was algorithmic, but it wasn't very computerized, but it was still algorithmic. That was not a market. It was meant as exactly the opposite, a replacement of the market with a top-down system for matching buyers and sellers. Amazon is exactly that. Amazon, the algorithm, is a centrally planned allocation system. No one interacts with anyone within Amazon, buyers, sellers with buyers, sellers with sellers, unless the algorithm matches them. And given that, unlike Gosplan, Amazon is privately owned, that's why I define it as a kind of cloud fiefdom, not a capitalist marketplace, even though it's a trading platform. Now, some people say to me, critics of my theory, is that, hang on, Yanis, there are these huge rivalries, competition between platforms, between, Uber and Lyft, between TikTok and Instagram. Isn't that capitalism? Is this a market? Are their clashes not evidence of ruthless competition at work? No, it isn't. Because market competition is based on price and quality, and it unfolds in decentralized markets. What we observe is economic rivalry, which is not the same thing. Clashes between TikTok and Instagram, Uber and Lyft, these are zero-sum territorial clashes. They pitch one centralized cloud thief against another. Unlike the market contest between, let's say, Toyota and General Motors, these platforms race to lock us in their centralized, not decentralized, centralized trading schemes, not to offer us lower price or higher quality, but effectively to enlist us. Notice that none of what I said involved AI. This happened even before ChatGPT, when Google and Meta used their reinforcement learning-based algorithms. Now, what happens with AI? When AI is thrown into this mix? Well, the whole thing is turbocharged. As we know, Alexa is being now spruced up with AI capacities. What will an advanced AI-powered version of a bot like Alexa, what will it do? Very, very soon, in the next few weeks. Okay, here it is. Here's my answer to the question. Not only will it know you perfectly, but it will be able to speak to you in a manner that is virtually indistinguishable to that of a human, of a friend. It will remember everything you've ever said, did, even what you wished for. And it will be able to go back years. And it will be able to predict when one of its recommendations for something for you to purchase will jar with you. So it will take you to the brink of your tolerance without crossing your red lines. Now, folks, this is light years beyond surveillance. The earlier system where machines, Google, spied on you or Facebook so that advertisers could target their marketing material. Now that we're going to have these AI-enabled bots, Amazon, Meta, Google will interact with you in ways that today seem unfathomable. With this kind of power hidden under their human-like demeanor, AI bots, like Alexa-like AI bots, will speedily cultivate in you a very specific neurodependence. They will become indispensable to your psyche. Your friends, your shrinks, your lovers, switching to a competitor's bot will be almost unthinkable. It will be closer to a heart-wrenching divorce than to finding another e-shop to buy stuff from. And at that point, all hope that market competition has, dies. So, Wolfgang, let me just cut my long story short. AI-enhanced cloud capital is incompatible with market capitalism. It will kill it by replacing markets with cloud fiefdoms and by siphoning off profits into what I call cloud rents. And as we know, David Ricardo taught us that from 1815, 1816 onwards. From a macroeconomic point of view, because rent, unlike profit, is not recycled readily through productive investment, this siphoning off of all these cloud rents will destabilize our already unstable Western economies no end. And that will cause massive social dislocation. And I also think that it will poison the parts of our democracies that still survive. So here we are, these splendid machines that you admire and I admire. I mean, all of these machines, especially in the last few weeks, what they have managed to achieve. These masterpieces of human ingenuity are killing capitalism in a way that the left never succeeded in doing. And they are replacing it with what I call techno-feudalism. And now that they are turbocharged by AI, I think that they are even incompatible with the concept of private property. So humanity is facing a very serious dilemma. Are we moving, if I'm right, capitalism is simply incompatible with these technologies. So what's the next step? Barbarism or something closer to socialism?
Let me cut in on this here.